Home of gravity. Interesting. Hey there, how's it going? Yeah, do you happen to have this in an S-class by chance? In this S-class, just one tier up. Just need an S-class. Okay, guess I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go. Jesus, that was rude. Greetings, fellow interloper. Taylor here. If you spent any amount of time on the Coordinate Exchange or your favorite No Man's Sky subreddit, it won't take long before you see these awesome alien or experimental multi-tools someone just found. And it doesn't just look cool, it's always an S-class to boot. And yeah, you could follow the directions and find this particular multi-tool that you found on the Coordinate Exchange, or a part of you just wants to go out and find your own. I mean, how hard can it be, right? Well, if your experience has been anything like mine when I first started looking, you find out pretty quickly there's a whole lot more to this than simply jumping system to system and looking in every space station. So if you'd like to start discovering these awesome tools for yourself, stick around and allow me to pull back the curtain on one of the grindiest yet fulfilling areas of No Man's Sky, the S-class Multitool hunt. First off, we need to maximize our chances before we start and make sure we select a Tier 3 system. Now, remember, these systems can go by many names such as Wealthy, Opulent, Advanced, and a few others. Don't worry, you don't need to memorize all these names, it's right on the galaxy map for us to see. If you look just left of the economy icon, you can see there's a spot for up to 3 stars to be displayed. As you probably guessed, those stars represent the tier of the system. So we need to make sure to visit only systems with 3 stars displayed. I'm kicking myself for not including this in my galaxy map mastery video I just did. So once you start looking at the number of stars each system has, you really don't need to worry about how it's titled. Alright, so after we found our 3-star system and we fly in, we're going to head to the space station and go straight to the multi-tool cabinet. We're looking for a couple things. First, did we get insanely lucky and this thing's already an S-class? That would be nice, but it rarely happens, even in a 3-star system. But the biggest thing we want to see is what class it is. If it's not an S-class, we need at least an A-class. So why are we trying to get an A-class? Well, the answer to that leads us inside the belly of the beast when it comes to understanding how multi-tools appear in any given system. So if we take a look at this system map, you can see we have 3 planets and 2 moons. So we have 5 total bodies in this system. Each body has their own group of multi-tools they're randomly assigned. This is known as the spawn pool. This number could be 1 or it could be 5 or more. And as we've come to expect from procedurally generated games, it's all extremely random. When you see a multi-tool in a cabinet, that cabinet is pulling from the active pool. It doesn't matter where the cabinet is. It could be the space station or some random minor settlement on another planet. When you first enter a system and head to the space station, we're in the default spawn pool, or you could call it the space station pool. At this point, there's a very good chance many of you are wondering, well, how do we change spawn pools? It's actually pretty easy. To change that, you would just pick a planet or a moon to land on, hop out and create a save, and reload. After you load in, you'll now be in that planet's spawn pool. To prove this, fly back up to the space station after you've saved and reloaded, and take another look. You'll see that the previous default tool has now changed because the spawn pool got switched because of your reload. You switched spawn pools. So to summarize, the number of possible spawn pools of any given system is going to be however many planets and moons there are, plus 1, and the 1 is representing the default or the space station spawn pool. If you noticed, even though the tool changed, the class did not. This is a very important thing to remember and crucial to understanding this process. One of the biggest misconceptions is that multi-tools are assigned a class. In actuality, it's the cabinet that has the fixed class, And what tool spawns into that cabinet is dependent on which planet's spawn pool you're actually pulling from. Hopefully this is making sense. But this does lay the groundwork with how I approach looking for multi-tools when I first get into a system. So it stands to reason that we like systems with a lot of planets or a lot of moons, right? The more the better, because each one represents a different spawn pool that we can reload on and go to the space station to check it out. So if you look at multi-tool hunting in a set of phases, phase 1 would be your selection of a system. So phase 1 is select a 3-star system, right? Phase 2 is checking the cabinet and then popping down to every planet and moon, reloading and then rechecking the cabinet to see if anything cool popped in there. I'll be honest here, the majority of your time will be spent in phase 1 and phase 2, because unfortunately, you're going to get a bunch of grayish, kind of blah looking weapons. But then, all of a sudden, you'll do a reload, you'll pop up to the space station and check the cabinet, and you see a kick-ass multi-tool. This is where we move into phase 3. Unless you have 50,000 nanites laying around and you just want to do an upgrade, since this cabinet, remember, is just an A-class. But hey, at least we now know this tool can be pulled from the pool. So the next phase is finding an S-class cabinet in which to pull it into. For the newer players who might be watching this, multi-tool cabinets aren't just found on the anomaly in the space station, they're also inside special buildings scattered throughout the system known as minor settlements. There are 2 basic ways to find minor settlements. The first, most straightforward way, is to use maps you can get from the space station cartographer. These will be the 3rd option down when trading in nav data. Just make sure and look for the ones that say inhabited outposts. These will work simply by activating the map while out in space or on foot. Problem is, they not only locate minor settlements, but also trading posts, observatories, archive buildings, and many times, absolutely nothing. Which type of building it locates is completely random, so you may find yourself burning through 5 or more maps just to finally locate a minor settlement. Because of this, you'll want to have a nice stock of nav data ready to trade for these maps. A quick note about nav data on space stations though. They actually have 2 different appearances. The first, I'm sure you're familiar with, is the blue and orange, those glowy cube things. But the second is a lot easier to miss. These are actually small, black, coaster-looking things that will pop up a little hologram once you've collected its nav data. So make sure and keep an eye out for both types. And for you super hunters out there who never want to run out of nav data, you can actually build a nav data farm on your freighter. The red barrels get overlooked by many when in the build menu, but once you build one, it will actually produce a variety of items, one of which is nav data. So using maps to locate minor settlements is the first method. Now let me show you my method for locating minor settlements. It's a little bit more old school. I prefer this method because I don't have to constantly worry about finding nav data and burning through maps just to find one, and once found, it always seems to be on the other side of the system. I simply land on a planet and throw a save beacon down. From here, I just pick a northerly heading and just keep scanning, as much as I'm able to. I always pick planets with nicer climate and fly in third-person mode so I can easily see landing indicators that pop up. Now keep in mind that not all of these landing indicators are a minor settlement. You want to make sure that there's a landing pad as well as the indicator. Minor settlements are the only buildings to have a single landing pad. So if it's just an indicator light with no pad, I pass it by. This can definitely be tedious, but I do find it easier to locate settlements this way. You would be amazed at how many settlements are actually on a single planet once you start looking. It's not uncommon to circle the planet and arrive back at your original beacon. Once this happens, I pick east or west from my original beacon and go through the same process as before, checking every minor settlement for an S-class cabinet. It's not unheard of to have to move planets to start your search over again, but given the amount of minor settlements you'll come across using this method, the odds are definitely on your side. So let's skip ahead to the fun part. Once you've located an S-class cabinet, it may or may not already have the tool you're looking for in it. Chances are a different pool might be currently active, so make sure and immediately throw down a save beacon. You'll kick yourself if you don't do this one. I always color mine orange just to signify the S-class location. You do you though. Now you can head to the planet that spawned your favorite tool and do the land, hop out, save, and reload thing. This will activate this planet's spawn pool with your favorite tool on it. From here, just fly back to your S-class save beacon, and your new S-class tool will be waiting for you. Hopefully by now you not only have a greater appreciation of the hunt, but the tools and knowledge to go out and find your very own multi-tool. If you don't mind grinding, it's hard to beat the feeling of discovering an awesome multi-tool that no one's seen yet. You know, and speaking of grinding, you like that? I happen to love coffee as well, you know. If you love the content I put out and would like to support the channel, please consider joining the Whiskey Barrel Gaming Coffee Club at Ko-Fi. It's super easy to show your support with a simple gift as low as a cup of coffee at Starbucks. You can even sign up to treat me to a cup of coffee once a month. Hey, I can't begin to thank you all enough for the kind words and support you guys have shown in just the short amount of time I've had this channel. The growth rate has blown me away, and I'm just so happy you all like what I'm doing. It does feel great. If you like this video, you might like these as well. I did a deep dive on glitch building, as well as refining elements to make various plants. Thanks again for watching, guys. This is Taylor with Whiskey Barrel Gaming, signing off.